Hey everybody, it's Jim Souhan. In this episode, we bring you the first ever Talk North Sports Report, recorded live at Parlay Bar and Kitchen, downtown Minneapolis. I was lucky to be joined by fellow Talk North hosts Mark Rosen, Michael Russo, John Krawczynski, and LaVelle E. Neal III, as we discussed all things Minnesota sports, and I share my take on more than just Vikings football. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to Parlay Kitchen and Bar. Thanks for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. If you're not familiar with what's going on here, this is going to be our first Talk North Sports Report, hosted by Mark Rosen. The lineup tonight, Mark Rosen, you know him. LaVelle E. Neal III, you know him. LaVelle's shy. Try to bring him out of his shell if you can. John Krawczynski from The Athletic. Michael Russo from The Athletic. I'm Jim Souhan. So we started this a number of years ago, and we always looked forward to having this kind of a show with somebody like Mark Rosen hosting. Michael Russo has been great for us. This thing would not have gotten off the ground without him. John Krawczynski does one of the most popular shows on the network. LaVelle has been a friend and a colleague of mine at the Star Tribune for 27 years now.
26.
26, right? Yes. 26 years now. That makes me feel younger. And of course, Mark Rosen is one of the great TV personalities in Minnesota history.
Hall of Famer.
He has just signed on. Yes, Hall of Famer. And he's just signed on with our network, talknorth.com. If you're not familiar with this, it's a bunch of sports podcasts with the best lineup in town. We also have outdoor content, and things are growing. This is a sign of that. We're really thankful to Parlay Kitchen and Bar for having us. We're also sponsored by Giggly THC Beverages. There are free samples in the back. I drink this all the time. It's great. Highly recommend it. I'll be drinking it during the show tonight, so I'm not responsible for anything I say. Thank you to Andrew Height, our Vice President of Business Development, who put this all together. He does a great job for us. There's another reason we're growing so quickly. Alex Haugen is our producer. So thank you for being here. Let's have some fun with it. And now, Mark Rosen.
All right. Thanks, Jim. First of all, I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of this enterprise and with these professionals. They are the best of the best, and I've known all these guys for a long time, and to have us all under one roof, as they say, is going to be a very exciting. My first venture into podcasting, really, and I'm excited for the present and for the future, and with the possibility, the limitless possibilities that I see in terms of engaging with people in a different format. You know, the TV thing was great for 50 years. Radio still is fun, except when I work with Common every day. And then, but that it's still, this is something that I really look forward to, because you kind of expand my horizons a little bit and get different guests on different levels of not just sports, but other parts of our society as well. But tonight, we're here to talk a lot of sports with these gentlemen in particular who are so good at what they do, and I have such a great following in the Twin Cities. You know, I had all good intentions of starting out, since the Twins are starting their season, of talking baseball right away. And we'll get to it. We'll get to all the sports before we're done. With the ownership situation, television situation, the team itself, of course. But then, shocking, the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, decided to hold a rare news conference, at which time, you know, I mean, I'm thinking, and I spoke to Jim Souhan about it a little earlier. I went, what was his motivation for doing this? And then, unless his arm was twisted and got talked into it. You know, everybody knew they had a good offseason. They signed some great players for offensive line, defensive line in particular. But he knew damn well most of the line of questioning was going to be about a guy who's not here. It's about Aaron Rodgers. And sure enough, the question came up over and over and over again. So as I turned to the panel, I think the question is, and Kwesi addressed it today, the elephant in the room, when he talked about KOC, Kevin O'Connell, not being there, but also his exact quote was, they have had a lot of conversations, meaning Kevin O'Connell and Aaron Rodgers. So we kept hearing, and John, I know you've been covering this a lot. We'll start with you. You know, this is maybe an indication of the where we are as social media, the way reporters cover it, nationally, locally, how you weigh in on this. But he put a stamp on it. He didn't make it sound like A-Rod was going to pull a Brett Favre and be here, you know, at the end of July. But he certainly did not deny the fact that they've had conversations.
Yeah, Rosie, it's been kind of a crazy situation because I think
some of my partners at The Athletic, Diana Rossini, Alec Lewis, Mike Silver, like they've really pushed out there that this was a possibility, that they were seriously considering bringing Aaron Rodgers in. And I have never seen a fan base kind of lash out at the reporters as much as they have in this situation. I've been in the firing squad a lot, in my tenure, but everyone kind of are blaming Alec, Diana, Albert Breer, a few others that have put out there that they are interested just because they don't like Aaron Rodgers. And what we saw from Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah today was that absolutely 100% they have had real conversations about bringing him in. Now, it has not gotten to, here is a contract, Aaron, we want you to come here. But there's certainly real mulling going on. They're thinking about, is JJ ready? They're thinking about what Rodgers could do for them. And this is a real storyline that is going to continue until Rodgers signs with the Steelers or JJ McCarthy just really takes hold of the job. And I think that that's going to take a long time to play out.
Well, none of us are going to know that, Jim, until obviously the end of training camp. I remember the Favre story quite well. You do too. And he didn't even show up for training camp. So is Rodgers in a position to hold? I mean, there aren't, it's musical chairs of NFL quarterbacks and teams. The Steelers are about the only team left. They got Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback. They could certainly draft someone, but the music's about to stop.
I'm going to lash out at John Krawczynski and all of his colleagues
Please
now.
Please do. Come on.
No, I'm not. A lot of good reporters have reported that this is going on. I'm not going to say it's not. It's crazy. It's bonkers. This guy, he's old. He's a pain in the butt. He 2 years ago signed on as a aging quarterback who's going to put the Jets over the top. What did everybody say? The Jets have a great roster. All they need is a quarterback. First play, or first quarter, whatever, he gets hurt, he's out for the year. Bring him back next year. Great roster. Now he's been in the system for a year. Man, this is going to be great. They went 5-12. They went 5-12 and wasted draft capital trading for Devontae Adams. It was a disaster.
Hey, what did Sam Darnold do with the Jets?
Sam Darnold.
He wasn't an aging. He wasn't an
What did he do? What did he do?
He wasn't an aging guy who was trying to salvage the last couple years of his career. Darnold was young.
I'm just saying.
He was seeing ghosts.
Darnold
I'm not
was also
saying.
with the-
I'm just saying.
Darnold was with the Jets when they were terrible. This was actually supposed to be a good team.
I do have a question, though.
Go ahead,
To your
Michael.
original point, what would be the motivation today of him to, other than validating the great reporting by our colleagues, what would be the motivation to put this in JJ's head right now? I don't understand why to make this a continued storyline where he didn't put it to bed today. He basically said, JJ, if you flounder, this is here waiting in the wings, a Hall of Famer. It just seems like this is not the proper way to go into a season with a young quarterback that you expect to be your franchise quarterback. I don't understand what the motivation was to not at least say, look, we've decided we're going with JJ.
Yeah, he lit the fuse a little bit more, LaVelle, and this is not a story that's going to go away anytime soon, I don't believe. And the Vikings aren't going to get anything settled. This is, the training camp doesn't start till the end of July, and Aaron Rodgers, I don't think has the desire to come in and mentor JJ McCarthy. If he's going to come here, he's going to start. Right?
Look, we are headed to the spring and summer of skepticism here over this whole case because it's going to be out there. Rodgers is not going to sign anytime early because then he has to go to OTAs and get to know people. He's going to do what he did last year with the Jets when he was out going to some concert or some party in Europe while the Jets were trying to prepare for a season. And that's one of the reasons why it's dangerous to even touch this guy. But Rodgers is going to let this play out. The Vikings are going to sign a veteran quarterback. They're going to add a veteran quarterback somewhere to the roster. I don't know if it's Rodgers. It could be Brian Tannehill. It could be Case Keenum for all we know. Right? I know it's this. As a fan, I'd be incredibly nervous about this guy tearing up the clubhouse, trying to take over the team, trying to become the offensive coordinator and the general manager. The beat writer, columnist, reporter in me would love Aaron Rodgers to be here. He could give me 5 to 10 columns a year easily, or 5 to 10 columns a month maybe, for all the chaos he could perform here. So this is just beginning. Kwesi did nothing to quell this today, and he's just going to, the anxiety meter in this mark over the possibility of Rodgers, real or not, him appearing in a purple uniform.
I'm a huge